If the International Phonetic Alphabet has symbols and sounds you haven't mastered yet, it's time for IPA and IPAs with Molly.
Hi everybody, welcome to IPA and IPAs, the unfussy show about the International Phonetic Alphabet and beer. I'm Molly from Molly Does Dialects, and tonight we are going to learn all about the nasal diacritic. But first, what am I drinking? I'm really excited to talk about this beer tonight. Tonight I'm having the Stonewall Inn IPA from Brooklyn Brewery. Brooklyn Brewery in Brooklyn, New York. And Brooklyn Brewery partners with the Stonewall Inn Gives Back initiative for this beer. And that is a charitable organization that supports LGBTQ plus communities around the world. I have linked to their website in the description below this video if you want to get a better idea of the work they do, or donate, or just read more about them. Their mission with this beer collaboration is to make the world a more loving place, one beer at a time. And that is a mission statement I can get behind. So I'm very excited to try it. It's a session IPA, and it says there will be notes of lemon peel and grapefruit. So we'll have to see. I also really love the can. It's very, very pretty. Definitely smells like citrus. I smell the grapefruit. It's not quite as strong and in your face as a lot of IPAs I've smelled are, so I'm kind of hoping that it's a little bit more mellow, but we'll see. Cheers, everybody. Oh my gosh. This is so good. It's not really really heavy or really bitter. It's got a bitterness, and I think it's actually heavier on the lemon peel flavor than the grapefruit, and that kind of gives it a little more maybe sour than bitter. It's not a sour, it's still definitely an IPA, but I actually like this one. You go, Brooklyn Brewing. Cheers. I highly recommend this. It's very pleasant. It's easy drinking. It's not too strong, but it's still an IPA. This might be a very good gateway IPA if you, like me, are not an IPA drinker. I'm actually probably going to finish this one because I don't always finish the beers that I pour in these videos. All right. So the nasal diacritic. First of all, what makes a sound nasal is the lowering of your soft palate, or your velum. So to find that, if you would please, join me in making an NG sound. Do you feel where the back of your mouth goes down and touches your tongue? Say it over and over, it kind of helps. That's your soft palate and your tongue touching it, but the lowering part is your soft palate. And when your soft palate lowers, more of your vibrations go through your nasal tract, and it makes the sound nasal, right? It's how we perceive a nasal sound, is it's going through your nasal tract. We have some consonants that are nasal, right? We have and in English. There are other nasal sounds in other languages, but those are the three nasal consonants we have in English. One of the places that it's really, really typical to hear nasalized sounds is if a vowel is followed by a nasal consonant. So like the word hand, H-A-N-D, hand. If we were to transcribe it, right, we would have and. And a lot of the times, I'm going to make this a little shorter. a lot of the times when you have a vowel followed by a nasal consonant, the vowel gets kind of nasalized. Think of the stereotypical, like the Midwest ah, instead of ah, they kind of ah, the flat sound. So like if I had to say, like when I was growing up, I would go to my dance class, dance. It is an ah followed by an n, and it would nasalize. So the way you mark that is this wavy line over the ah. That's the nasal diacritic. Now, sometimes when we hear nasalization, especially a vowel that's getting nasalized, that's right before a nasal consonant, we perceive it as raising. And I think I talk about that in a different video. I think it's in my common diacritics video. So if you want to learn more about that, check it out. But what that means is on the vowel quadrilateral, it's going up towards the next vowel sound up. And a place that you really commonly hear this is in words with ing endings. So like king. If we were to transcribe that, we would have I, and is a nasal consonant. And so when you have a nasal consonant and you're closing down that backspace, closing down your soft palate, so it's going up through your nasal tract, it can also make your vowel sound raise. So instead of king, it might sound like king. And you could put the nasal diacritic over it, or you could mark it with the diacritic for raising. It kind of can sound the same. So there's kind of two ways to perceive that sound. You can have it nasal, or you can have it raised. And they're not always the same, but a lot of times it's just two ways to describe the same thing. The more you know. Another place that I really commonly use the nasal diacritic is when I'm transcribing someone else's speech. Occasionally, I hear people leave out an N sound. Usually I hear it on an N sound, and then nasalize the vowel before it. And so to kind of show you what I mean, we're going to use the word answer, right? We see the nasal consonant, an, answer. And so sometimes I hear people say, answer, answer. So they're nasalizing the a, and because they perceive the sound a as nasal, they don't make the n sound. So if I was to transcribe it with the n, it would look like this. We would say answer. Answer. But then sometimes I hear people, if they take the n out and they nasalize the a, they're actually saying answer, answer. So let's say them back to back, see if you can hear the difference. Answer, 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 answer. It's slight, but it's there. And so that's another place that I use a nasal diacritic, is when I'm transcribing other people's speech. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on IPA and IPAs to learn about the nasal diacritic. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. Let me know in the comments below, what are you drinking? What should I drink? Do you have questions about the nasal diacritic or about phonetics in general? Also, if you have any suggestions about videos you would like to see in the future, I would love to hear them. Everybody have a great night. Cheers.
You can never fail with the fresh pale ale and Molly.
Overalls are falling down.